Let's face it, goal scorers are some of the most valuable players in the game. In fact, probably the most valuable. If you look at the professional level, teams will pay, ludicrous prices for players who are going to put the ball in the back of the net. So in this video, we're going to be going over 5 goal scoring hacks to take your game to the next level. That's coming up next. Welcome to the video. My name is Dave and this is Simplysoccer if you're new here, where we are releasing videos pretty much every single day to help you improve your game and stand out on the pitch. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and bell icon so that you don't miss any videos that we release. Now, like I said, I want to go over 5 finishing hacks that are going to take your game to the next level. These are things that are just going to help you score more goals, put you in better positions, just get that tally up, to make you a little more ruthless in front of net. And if you remember all of these things and start working on all of these things in your practices, you will become a better goal scorer. Before we start, I want you to write in the comments, I am becoming a better and better goal scorer every single day. And again, the reason I have you do that is to start rewiring your brain, to start seeing yourself in a more positive way as a goal scorer, to start identifying as that, and also so that you take a little bit of action instead of passively just watching this video and then forgetting everything you've learned in here. So make sure you write that down there, and we'll get into the first one going in reverse order with number 5. So number 5 is very simple, and you've heard of it before, but it's just a reminder. As a default finish, you always want to go firm and towards the corners. Now, we're going to go into a few different things other than this, but I have to remind you of this because even at really good levels, some players forget this. They shoot it as hard as they can right at the keeper, or they go for way too much power, and they forget that a lot of times you're going to score if you just put it either side of the keeper towards the corner. And I can tell you personally, I've scored so many goals just opening up my body and curling it towards the back post, or just going to the back post across the keeper, or even just going to the near post. Aiming for those corners should be a default finish you have in your repertoire. You should be able to do that in your sleep if you want to be a good goal scorer. And so getting to the pitch and just practicing hitting those corners firmly, but with amazing accuracy, is going to get you a lot of goals, even though it may seem very simple. We're not trying to overcomplicate anything here. We're trying to focus on what actually works. So make sure you are putting that into your training. Now, number 4 plays off of that a little bit, but it's placement over power. Look, if you can get power and placement on your shot, like you can hit it full tilt and just whack it into the corner, then great. But most players cannot, and even at the professional level, you'll see most players will go firm towards the corners. They won't try and lace the living crap out of it most times. Now, in some situations, that may be the best option, but in other situations, in most situations, it's going to be all about placement. And so one thing, again, you need to work on is just being incredibly accurate with your shots. Like a curled finish from 18 yards out, if you put that right in the corner with enough pace, but you put that directly into the corner, you're gonna score more times than not. And every goal scorer should be good enough to 9 times out of 10 be able from the 18 yards or 20 yards, curl that ball to the back post accurately with enough power to beat the goalkeeper. And that's something you need to work on if you can't do it yet. And I would also recommend that you get really good at hitting it towards the near post with accuracy as well. Because when it comes to goal scoring, guys, I can't tell you how many players I've seen who actually are really, really good players, even have good finishing ability, but they lose their head in the moment, and so they just try and whack it. And when you go to whack it, the most likely thing that's going to happen is you're going to miss, or you hit it right at the keeper. You want to go in with confidence. You want to go for that placement first. Now that brings us on to number 3, which is follow your instincts. Now, when you get to higher levels of goal scoring, you're going to be mixing up a ton of different finishes where, yeah, sometimes you're going to put it in the corner. Other times your instincts might tell you to just put your laces through it. And when you become a better and better goal scorer, you want to be listening to those instincts because they usually know better than your thinking mind is going to know. Now, again, in the beginning, you want to stick to a lot of default types of finishes, but your instincts a lot of times are going to tell you what those are, and your instincts are usually going to play to your strengths. You know, for example, I actually have a very sweet strike where I can take the ball from this side to the back post and hit it cleanly with my laces. So a lot of times in that situation, that'll be my default finish. Now, if you're not used to being able to hit it with your laces cleanly and get pretty much no back lift on it, no spin, then that might be something you don't automatically do. That might not be something that should be your instincts will be telling you to do. But as you work on these different techniques on the training pitch, your instincts is going to be telling you to do certain things that you've been working on. And the last thing you want to do is fight those instincts. You want to listen to them. So if you've been working on putting it into the different corners and suddenly you're one-on-one with the keeper and your instincts immediately tells you to put it in the one corner, don't try and switch it up to the other, because you're going to get in your own head. You know, it's like a lot of players say when they're taking a penalty, you know, pick your spot and don't change it. Now, not everyone follows that modality. I know a lot of players go, well, sometimes I will change it. But the idea here is you don't want to get up in your own head. And with a penalty, you have a lot of time to think, so you can potentially change your mind. But in a lot of finishing opportunities, in a lot of goal scoring opportunities, you're gonna have a split second to make your decision. And so if you don't go with that initial instinct, you're probably gonna delay to the point where the defender gets the tackle in, or the goalkeeper gets a good position on you, or where the chance just goes begging for some other reason. So you really wanna get in the habit of following your instincts, hone your instincts on the training pitch, but follow them on match day. So number 2 is another thing that's helped me score a lot of goals in a lot of different players, and I've noticed this with really, really good goal scorers, and it's learn how to strike a ball cleanly, especially with your laces. And you can do this by practicing against a wall. You know, again, you should get to the point where 9 times out of 10, if you push the ball forward and then take a shot, that you can just hit it perfectly and cleanly 9 times out of 10. If you're getting unnecessary spin, not that much power on it when you're doing this, you need more practice. And this is such an advantageous technique, again, because you could be on the swivel with your instincts saying, you know, put it into that back corner with your laces and just automatically do that. And I found that, you know, in my own playing, that when I've had this technique in my repertoire, when I learned how to do this and hit a ball cleanly most times, it resulted in way more goals. Because now suddenly, you know, the instinct to hit it to a certain corner or to a certain post would pop up, and I'd be able to do it almost every single time because I could hit the ball cleanly. If you can't hit the ball cleanly, then it doesn't matter what your instincts are telling you, you're always gonna be, you know, a little bit off or even a lot off from the place you're trying to put the ball. But understanding how to hit the ball cleanly, again, which just comes through repetition, 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 you know, where to put your body, you know, when the ball's in a certain position, where, you know, how to approach the ball, what angle to hit it at, you know, if it's rolling away from you, if it's a standstill, if it's coming towards you. Knowing how to hit that ball cleanly in all of those situations is going to help you so much. And again, this is something I am particularly good at, and I got good at it through using a wall. A wall is your best friend when it comes to working on technique. Okay, and last one I want to cover is one that isn't always covered, and it has to do with scoring crosses. Because as a striker, if you're making good runs, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to finish crosses, get the ball kind of played or whipped across the box for a tap in, and a lot of players miss these chances. And it's because I think it's overcomplicated. When the ball's being whipped into you with a lot of pace, it's not about usually going for a specific corner, but getting solid contact on the ball. Look, if you're 6 yards out and that ball's whipped in, you usually just need to get it on target in order to score. Now, you could get unlucky and accidentally hit it right at the keeper, but what happens most time with players is they try and get a little too precise, hit it right into that side panel when it's coming in with so much pace. And what ends up happening is they completely whiff it or they miss completely. And so from crosses, especially really close in, when you're getting those whipped crosses around the last defender and you're running onto it and it's taking like a little bounce just before you, your main goal, your main default finish in these scenarios should be to get solid contact on it and to put it on target. And if you do that, you're going to score way more than you miss. But again, either players try and hit it too hard or they try and get way too cute with it, which makes them miss or lose power completely. But if in these situations, the same with headers, if you're 6 to 8 yards out and that cross comes in, put that header down into the ground with power, get solid contact on it, because again, a lot of players, they try and be too cute and miss it, or they get under it, or something else of that nature. But in these situations when these crosses are coming in, those really quick balls are coming in, you want to aim for that solid contact that's on target. Now again, if it's a little further out and the ball coming in maybe isn't that much power, maybe you get a lofted cross and it's really coming to you and you have time to set yourself and you have time to aim and it's not as hard, so it gives you more control over the ball, you can definitely try and pick out a spot a little bit more. But again, when that ball is whipped in, low, hard, and really you're 6 yards or so, 8 yards out from goal, solid contact. Get your body behind it, get solid contact on it, and put it on target, and I promise you, you're gonna score a lot of goals in that way. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for this video. Question of the day is, which of these areas do you need to work on the most? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know some other hacks, some other tips you have for players that wanna get better at their finishing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the video. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Also get my free ebook, Game Changer, if you haven't already, which will be linked down below. As always, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.